Archie, Princess Lily, that christening. Apparently, royals invited but didn't attend. As ever, there's more and more emerging about that particular event, which was painted rather negatively towards our wonderful British monarchy. And as ever, we've dug a little bit deeper so that you don't need to. Let me explain. Hi, good morning. Nice to see you. I hope you're all keeping well, fine and dandy. Listen, a quick message also regarding this particular story about King Charles appearing to attend a christening at a local church. Now, what's interesting here is, yes, there was a christening actually taking place. He wasn't invited. He was simply going to that particular church for his own religious worship, alongside Queen Camilla. But the way, as ever, the mainstream media painted it was that he couldn't be bothered to turn up for his youngest son's christening. But of course, he popped into someone who he didn't know. I mean, I think these two people were really, really genuinely pleased that the king was in attendance as their child was being christened. Who wouldn't be? What a nice thing to tell people when you're a little bit older who was there in the congregation. But it wasn't a set, it wasn't an invite. And as ever, it's good to clear that particular story up. One side of the story regarding, of course, Prince Archie and Princess Lily. Can't get used to those titles, can you? I find it very strange given the fact that Meghan bleated on that, titles meant nothing. And she's correct. Over in the United States, they simply don't mean anything. Seemingly, though, she's clutching hold of hers like a life raft on the Titanic. She likes to be known as Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Why? If you're so independent and you're so wanting to be known for your individuality, why not go back to your original name, Rachel? Why not try that and see how far that gets you? But what's interesting here is, and what's emerged is this. As we told you recently, and as ever we have to say allegedly, the royals simply couldn't attend because of the short space of time that was delivered for that particular event. But the bigger picture also emerges that the godfather, Tyler Perry, the billionaire film producer, who was, of course, invited and a pivotal part of that celebration. If you recall, way back on the docuseries for Netflix, he said, look, I'd be more than happy to be part of it, as long as I don't have to go over there, meaning here, the United Kingdom, and go all through that fancy stuff at the church, meaning St. George's Chapel in Windsor. But if you recall, that was the one thing that both Meghan and Harry were holding out for. They wanted all of that pomp and circumstance. They needed that, didn't they? It was valuable. But seemingly, if they wanted Tyler Perry, he wasn't willing to make that sacrifice. Hence the reason when they realised that St. George's Chapel was never going to be in their visual sights, which would have made a far better story for their own media relations company, otherwise known to many as the tabloid People magazine, then they decided to do it back home in California. But also what's interesting is this. When you think about the bigger story, we've still yet to see any pictures from this particular beautiful event, the christening of the children. Now, a lot of people are betting that it could just come around the time of the head of the coronation, or indeed just as the celebrations are hotting up over here. But what would be interesting to see is exactly who did attend. Numbers fluctuate on a daily basis, from it being a mere 10 to 30, including the sisters of the late and beautiful Princess Diana. But as we often say here on the show, what's always surrounded in mystery with Harry and Meghan is they like to spell intrigue. But one thing we do know is this. If they wanted Tyler Perry, there was no way that he was coming over to England to stand and face King Charles III. That's for sure. Neil Sean in the very heart of England.